evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. Well, tonight the White House says a decision by OPEC Plus to cut oil production is a clear sign the group is aligning with Russia. The oil cartel led by Saudi Arabia announced a cut of 2 million barrels per day, the biggest slash in production since the start of the pandemic. The decision will likely lead to higher gas prices at the pump. President Biden is expected to order the release of 10 million barrels of fuel from reserves to try to stop that from happening. Already, prices have been increasing here in Washington and in California. Experts are blaming tight supply and more demand. AAA reports at least 6 oil refineries in California are undergoing maintenance, and it is harder for us to get supply from anywhere east of the Rockies. Experts are also warning the uptick in gas prices will likely impact consumer behavior across the board.
Spike that we've seen over the last week or so is significant enough that it's enough for consumers to stop and think.
Seattle U professor Matthew Isaac says high prices for gas can discourage consumers from purchasing big ticket items, but he adds there has not been a drastic change in consumer behavior yet. In the meantime, this is what gas prices look like in Washington right now. You can see how fast they have been climbing. Right now, the average price, $5.34 a gallon. A week ago, it was $5.10 a gallon. And getting a little closer to home, prices here in Spokane. Right now, the average price, $4.79 a gallon. That is 8 cents more from last week when it was the average of $4.71. Well, heads up, if your commute takes you through downtown Spokane for the next 10 days, you can expect delays as you're heading home. BNSF Railway making emergency repairs to an overpass on Division and Sprague. Just hours ago, it was creating large traffic backups with traffic backed up all the way to I-90. The crews are making repairs to a railroad overpass that was hit by a car last month. The closure will take place from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. Drivers should try to use alternate routes if they can. Well, police were called to the homeless camp near I-90 early this morning when they say a man pulled out a gun and began shooting. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and officers arrested the suspect a few hours later at his South Hill apartment. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk was in court today as that suspect faced the judge.
Police are still looking into whether the suspect was shooting directly into the camp or whether he was just firing in the air. Regardless, they say it's fortunate that no one was injured given the hundreds of people that live on this small lot of land.
Reports of multiple shots fired.
Spokane police racing to the homeless camp near I-90 in Freya just after 3 this morning after a man fired several shots from his car.
Sitting around looking for this car. We need to get at least 2 or 3 people into the camp, or at least on the outskirts of the camp, to start looking for some victims.
Heather Morris is part of the camp's security team and spoke to the suspect moments before the shooting.
The gentleman in the car pulled over and he asked me if I'd seen a younger girl or woman. He was telling me that she had stolen something from him.
According to court documents, 24-year-old James Ratcliffe said he was looking for a woman he had just given a ride to. He claims she stole his pistol. Unable to find her at the camp, police say he opened fire and sped off. Heather was able to get a license plate, which led police to an apartment complex on the South Hill, near Regal and Southeast Boulevard, where they found the car. Our cameras were there as they took Ratcliffe into custody.
All right, so are you James Ratcliffe?
Yes, sir.
Ratcliffe appeared in court this afternoon charged with 2 counts of drive-by shooting. Camp manager Maurice Smith believes the newly installed fence actually kept the homeless safe by keeping Ratcliffe out.
If the fence had not been here, he could have parked his car and come into the camp, which he couldn't do this time.
Police say they found several weapons inside Ratcliffe's apartment and a shell casing near the car's windshield wiper. Ratcliffe has no prior criminal history. However, today we learned that he's actually had a warrant out for his arrest, a misdemeanor warrant, since 2016 for failure to appear. The court set his bond at $5,000. In Spokane, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Meanwhile, the Spokane County Board of Commissioners approved a resolution for the county prosecutor's office to file a lawsuit against Washdot in relation to the homeless camp. County commissioners said the action is in support of the sheriff's plan to clear out the encampment. Last month, Ozzie Knezevich wrote a letter to Washdot. He plans to clear the camp in the coming weeks. Coming up in 10 minutes, how the city of Spokane is reacting to the county's action. Well, just into our newsroom, the NTSB says it has finished recovery operations off Whidbey Island following last month's deadly float plane crash. The agency says the majority of the plane has been recovered, with the wreckage moved to a secure facility now. Investigators are currently examining it as they work to determine what happened. It's a process that could take at least a year, we're told. 10 people were killed when that plane crashed Labor Day weekend, including Spokane civil rights leader Sandy Williams and her partner Patricia Hicks. The bodies of 4 of the victims have still not been found. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. New developments tonight in the case of an Idaho man accused of killing 2 owners of a motel in New Meadows, that's near McCall. Prosecutors are now seeking the death penalty in the case. The new court documents reveal a positive motive. 28-year-old John Cody Hart is identified as the suspect who reportedly shot and killed the couple. According to an affidavit, Hart told a detective that he went through drawers inside the motel looking for socks he thought belonged to his children. Well, before the shooting, a man and woman told him he couldn't go through belongings in other people's rooms. According to that affidavit, that's when he became angry, went to the front desk, and shot the owners. Hart was previously found not competent to stand trial for an assault case in Washington. He was released from custody while he waited for a bed to open at a psychiatric hospital. Well, a truck rollover blocked both westbound lanes of I-90 earlier today. The freeway since reopened. According to Washdot, a truck was carrying an excavator in its bed when it hit an overpass. The truck then rolled onto its cab, crushing it. Luckily, nobody was hurt. Well, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and a new resource is coming to Spokane to help fight the problem. It's coming in the form of a QR code that you may see in local businesses. The code will direct people to different resources to fight domestic violence. It's all part of the Purple for a Purpose campaign put on by the Spokane Regional Domestic Violence Coalition, and it is meant to help victims in a discreet way.
People need to know where the resources are. People often don't know where to go. So this gives a really easy, accessible way for people to get resources.
This is the second year of the campaign, and this year the goal is fundraising. The coalition hopes partnering with local businesses will be the best way to reach the public. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. All right, let's talk weather now. Another beautiful October day with highs near 80 degrees here in Spokane. Meteorologist Michelle Boss joining us now. Michelle, how much longer can we hold on to this nice weather?
We've got at least through the upcoming weekend. And so it's Wednesday night, not too early to look at the weekend forecast. So here it is. Couldn't be any nicer. This may be your last really warm weekend to maybe even get out on the lake. Yeah, it's going to be that warm, upper 70s for Saturday and Sunday, and mostly sunny skies. Pretty nice out there now. Quiet weather, 63 in Spokane, 60s across central Washington, and a little bit cooler up north in Sandpoint, 48 degrees. Mostly clear skies out there now. We're looking for plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Temperature trend shows computer models are hinting at a cool down early next week. So we have at least through Monday, and then maybe seeing some big changes by next Tuesday and Wednesday. The short-term forecast looks a lot like what we've been seeing for previous nights. Next 3 days look fabulous. Sunshine and highs in the upper 70s.
Sounds good, Michelle. We'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. The University of Idaho is set to receive a $55 million grant to help farmers combat climate change. The grant is the largest in the school's history, more than double their previous largest grant, and it comes from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. More than half of the money is going directly to farmers and ranchers in Idaho. It'll be used to set up the climate smart practices on their land. Farmers can choose from different practices based on their needs, but they include things like cover cropping to manage soil erosion and adding biochar to their soil. U of I plans to support at least 100 farmers across the state. And the federal government is now recommending swift action on the lower Snake River dams to help rebuild salmon populations. In its final report, NOAA says breaching the dams is essential to restoring salmon and steelhead stock in the Columbia Basin. The report includes feedback from state and tribal fishery managers. It also recommends reintroducing salmon into blocked areas, managing predators, and reforming fish hatcheries. Idaho health officials are issuing a warning for people visiting Rose Lake, which is just east of Coeur d'Alene. A recent water test showed the presence of the harmful blue-green algae bloom in the lake. The algae is a type of bacteria harmful to both humans and to animals. Doctors say it can cause skin irritation, allergic reactions, even liver damage if you ingest the water or swim in the lake. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But don't go to bed just yet. The latest developments in the ongoing homeless crisis, as Spokane County now voicing their support of the sheriff's plan to clear the encampment. Plus, President Joe Biden traveled to Florida to assess the damage left behind by Hurricane Ian. What he said when we come back in just 90 seconds.